Hello and welcome back to the Selenium tutorial. Today my tutorial is about Selenium page object model. So let's discuss what is page object model, advantages of page object model, why do we use the page object model, what is page factory, page object model using page factory, and steps to create page object model using page factory pattern. What is page object model? Page object model is a very well known design pattern for Selenium, and it creates object repository for storing all web elements. It helps to reduce code duplication and improves test cases maintenance. What are the advantages of page object model? Easy maintenance. A page object model is useful when there is a change in a UI element. So if there is a change in UI element or change in action, uh, then it is very convenient to manage all those changes. For example, if a drop-down menu is changed to a radio button, in this case, page object model helps to identify the page or screen where this modification is required. As every screen will have different Java files, this identification is necessary to make changes in the right files. Uh, this makes test cases easy to maintain and reduce errors. Code reusability. All the screens are independent, therefore, in page object model, we can use uh, the test code for one screen and reuse it in another test case. I will demonstrate that how we can do this. We need not to rewrite the code, and it really save a lot of time and effort. Readability and reliability of scripts. When all screens have independent Java files, one can quickly identify actions performed on a particular screen by navigating through the Java file. If a change must be made on a specific code section, it can efficiently done without affecting other files. So these are the advantages of page object model. Let's discuss why do we use the page object model. There are multiple reasons, but most commonly uh, reasons why we use page object model is it creates object repository in page object model. So in if page object repository is created, we can use those objects in our test cases. The naming convention is very easy and understandable. Under the page object model, we create page classes, which is also very identical with for every page, and we can reuse in another in any of the test script. The page object model is easy for develop framework. Uh, in this model, separate classes are created for different pages or web application like login page, home page, employee detail page, etc. If there is any change in web element of a website, then we only need to make change in one class and not in all classes. The script design is more reusable, readable, and maintainable in the page object model. Its project structure is quite easy and understandable. It can use in page factory in the page object model in order to initialize the web elements and store elements in the cache. This is also one of the very important concept of page factory, which really make our life very easy. And last but not least, TestNG can also be integrated into the page object model approach. So let's see, understand page object model with example. In non-page object model structure, we write our uh, code, define web elements and methods in a class, in a single class, and also use test methods. So it's a very simple, but not very convenient. In page object model based structure, we actually create two different classes, one with web methods, web elements and methods, and second we use to write our code in it. Here, one more example, like in login page, we create all the web elements and methods in the login page class and then use those variables and methods in the test script, in any of the test script. So you see the power that we defined variables and methods once, and we can utilize in any of the test script. So let's discuss non-page object model structure and page object model base structure. Here is the example of login test case in which I have defined all the web elements like username text field, password text field, and submit button. And then I have performed different actions like with username text field, I am sending keys with username, sending keys with password, and then click submit button. And then I am validating that after login, this login successfully message is appearing or not with one assert, right? So now in page object model, I have distributed these things in two pages. Like in login page, I have defined web element username text field with annotation find by, which you can see I have not to write driver dot find element, and only in two lines I am able to define my username text field. Similarly, password text field and submit button. And then I have created methods: enter username, enter password, and press submit button. And in login test class, uh, what I did, I have before test, uh, I have I am actually calling this base URL and maximizing the window. I will discuss why I have used utils class here. And so let's see. So in utils class, I have defined all the global variables which I will use in my test script, like base URL and username and password. So in login test, I have called uh, utils.base URL. How I was able to do that? Because um because I have inherit this thing, right? So similarly, in at the rate test validate login test method, I have created object of this login page, and after creating this object, I am able to utilize this login page methods in my login test class. So after login page, I have called this enter username, and I am passing username as a parameter from utils class. Similarly, I am passing password as a parameter from the utils class, right? So this is about the page object model and non-page object model structure. What is page factory? So page factory is a built-in page object model framework concept for Selenium WebDriver, but it is very optimized. It is used for initialization of page objects or to instantiate the page object itself. It is also used to initialize page class elements without using find elements. So that what I have discussed earlier, that I don't need to write driver dot find elements, because we actually initialize this in the page factory. Here as well, the follow concept separation of page object repository and test methods. Additionally, with the help of class page factory in Selenium, we use annotations at the rate find by to find web elements. We use init elements method to initialize web elements. So let's see that how we have utilized this in page object class. In in page object class, we have defined uh, this piece of code in order to initialize elements, page factory class, and then initialize elements, so that we need not to write a driver.find element again and again. And similarly, we actually create pages by inherit the this page object class, right? So we need not to write or initialize WebDriver again and again. Okay, so steps to create page object model using page factory. Create Java class file for each page. So we already have done. We have created a login page and login page test. Define web elements as variable using annotation at the rate find by. In login page.java, we have defined all web elements with the annotation at the rate find by. Let me show you again. In login page, I have used this at the rate find by and identified those web elements, and then create methods for actions performed. So what actions we are performing in login text field, we are type username. Similarly, in password text field, we are typing password and then click action in login button. So let's see. In our login test class, we have enter username, enter password, and press submit button. So see that how simple it is to write, and it seems like a test case written in this validate login test method, right? So let's see this test in action. Run login test. So your web browser is open, and I'm expecting that it will be maximized. Yes, it is maximized. User enter name and password, and now I am logging. So uh, all actions we have performed. And these are the references of the websites which I have used for creating this page object model presentation. So thank you for watching.